Howdy folks, welcome back to Boondockery. I recently was able to attend the 4th annual Central Ohio Bushcraft gathering at Kirkmont Center. And I'm posting a video about that the same day I'm posting this video. And during the production of that video, I did several interviews with different people at the gathering. And one of the people I wanted to interview was named Jamie Burleigh. I've known Jamie Burleigh for about 11 years. He's an absolutely amazing human being. And Jamie didn't really want to do an interview. He wanted to have a conversation. And we had several, but I was able to film one. And I personally felt that that conversation was just a little too special to include in the video. So I omitted it from my Bushcraft gathering video, and the conversation is going to be its own video. Jamie Burleigh of the Old World Alliance also has his own jamieburleigh.com, things like that. He's been a self-reliance instructor for many, many years, very accomplished at primitive skills, bow making, you name it, he can do it. And there's just something very special about this human being that I've connected with and have stayed connected with for 11 years. And I hope that you get something special out of this conversation. I hope that it is as impactful for you to view it as it was for me to engage in it. Thank you. Folks, I'm here with Jamie Burleigh, a guy I met 10 or 11 years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but first time I met Jamie, I don't know if he remembers me or not, but I took a bow making class with you the year before I became a presenter at the same event. And that right there, you instilled in me something I rarely see in an instructor, and that is confidence and calm. And you exuded a presence that absolutely no one could get stressed out when they were making their bows, they were doing their things, and you had an amazing knack of being able to answer a complicated question amazingly simply. And that was a takeaway I had from that, other than an awesome bow.
Well, first off, thanks, and I totally forgot about that, John. I forget it, but you know what I do remember? I'm glad that you thought, or the students thought, that I exuded all this confidence and this great, amazing teaching ability. I didn't see that at the time. I was very nervous, and I'm not a very confident person at the time. And if I could give anything to my students, I wanted to make sure that would be the takeaway. And that is something that me, as an inspiring teacher and hopeful teacher, to be able to, if I were to give anything to the student, that's the experience and the takeaway that I want to be able to offer to them. Not only a good takeaway, a good product, a good craft, a good thought, a good experience. The confidence is everything in everything you do and everything we do. And I'm not confident right now talking in front of the camera. I may say a lot. I may blink my eyes. That's just the way it is. And I make horrible videos, and that's why I don't have a huge YouTube presence. But here we go. I thought back in the day that I had to say certain things, present things in a certain way, things that were foreign to me, things that I didn't think made sense. I don't need to fluff up what is real. If it's real and it holds value and I can share that with you, there's no need to put that on a higher level than what it really is. Just share the importance of what this knowledge, information, or this product is, and hopefully build the trust through that relationship or communication to my students or my consumers, the people that buy my stuff. as artists and craftsmen, there's no need to fluff anything up, right? And your confidence should be slowly built up through your experience in the craft and real relationships. If you have to get dressed up, doctored up, it just doesn't seem real to me, and I lock up because it's not natural.
Yeah. There's a lot of theater in this world, and it doesn't matter whether it's an interpersonal relationship or not. Some people literally cannot fathom themselves, let alone be able to receive a real relationship with somebody else. And unfortunately, I mean, that's the world we live in, and that's the world that we view in media, including YouTube. And
I appreciate YouTube, but I also appreciate the things that got me into this. I remember watching the old black and white Tarzan movies. Remember
yes.
Tarzan?
Oh yes,
remember
Johnny Weissmuller.
Remember the knife hanging off of his loincloth?
Yes.
In the very few episodes he had a bow and arrow in. Man, I'm telling you, that got me. You know, and then Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett in the coonskin haps and the buckskinners and the reenactors, the long hunters. And then I met, fast forward 35 years, I met John. Here's this real life long hunter, buckskinner, reenactor, manly voice, come in confident, not only doing the part, playing the part, sharing about the historical views that he's trying to represent in his time. He comes in singing a song. Boy, that cut me off at the knees. I'm like, that is, talk about the guy that I want to be. You know, that I don't see that. I don't see that anymore. We don't see it on TV. We have to go to events. We have to go to reenacting events and share this information, but it's getting lost very quickly. These clothes, you know, new, you know, we're prepared. We do these modern things, but it all stems from the old ways, the old things we love to do. Now we're taking this knowledge and putting them into new practical means, but it's a really, really great journey back when you meet people that living reenact and have the accoutrement and know how to use that if none of this stuff was available. That these are really important skills, I think, you know, and good takeaways.
Yeah, the practicality of everything at that time, and that was one of the things that attracted me to that time period. I was reenacting 1750s French and Indian War. Is during the American Revolution, we're talking about it's all theater. It really was for the American soldier, the colonial soldier, is because they had piping sewn on their uniforms to make it look like they had buttons, to make it look like they had pockets. They did not. They couldn't afford them. But they had to present themselves to the enemy as a trained professional army. And so I went a little later with that. And it got to a point to where I was so comfortable with everything I had because everything I had was in a very small package. I could do anything I needed with that. Now, you know, with modern gear and things like that, you switch things up for different seasons, and it gets complicated. It gets convoluted, especially when you start focusing on the thing as opposed to how you use the thing. You lose something, and when all you have is what you have, you find a way to make it work. And in that time period, that's the way it was. But today, if you don't have what you need to get something done, you go out and buy it. Or if you're crafty, you can make it, as opposed to finding a way to make what you have work.
Do you like Little House on the Prairie?
Absolutely love it.
I don't know about you or whoever's watching this. One of my favorite specials was the Christmas special.
Absolutely. Poor old Mr. Edwards.
You know, when they got their tin cup and their peppermint stick, that's all they needed. When you have so much stuff, you don't know where it's at, what box it's in, I think it's here, it could be there, I might have lost it, I'll just run to the dollar store and replace this, and that. Things, George Carlin, things,
Yeah.
it having so many things makes it easier for you to lose those things because they could become less important. I remember seeing little wooden cigar boxes with 2 Matchbox cars, a tablet of paper, a single crayon, a pencil, a small article, a picture, and my grandparents or family members would keep that.
Yeah, George Carlin had a record album, and there was a child holding a sand pail on the beach, and the name of the album was A Place for My Stuff. And to fathom the idea that your stuff could fit in a plastic sand pail. And then touching on something you had mentioned that came to me, is like when you have so much stuff, you lose track of the stuff. There are some people that have so much stuff they lose track of themselves, and they become their stuff. And at that point, people have relinquished their humanity, any essence of passion that they may have had for breathing, for the superficial things which have become life for so many people.
You got me foggy there, John.
Yeah. And that's real. And we don't have enough of that. I mean, folks, you've seen me well up a few times, and in reality, and I appreciate your support on those things, especially the comments you shared with me with that. But sometimes you do. You just have to release those emotions, and in a way to where it's melting away. It's not blowing up.
The thing is, it doesn't take much to trigger those emotions, those memories, and if those few things mean that much, why do you need anything else?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Absolutely. And you may not.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I want to check something real quick before I become a fool. Yes, I had this internal fear that I didn't turn my microphone on, but it did.
I didn't think we were going to go this route by any means. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, you may not know this, but several years ago, we had a house fire, and thank God, He sent an angel to wake us up in the middle of the night, telling us our house is on fire. My wife and kids and the dog, we were all able to get out, and due to the fire and unfortunately the firefighting, all the renovations we had been doing on that house, it was completely destroyed, and because of the state of the house was really old, it's over 150 years old, and I'd been doing all the work myself, and been working on it for about a year. And we had so much wrapped into it, we couldn't get insurance because of the condition of the house. And the last thing we needed to do was to paint the exterior to get the insurance. And we had planned on getting the house paint the next pay period and start painting it then. And so we were into it, about $30,000 into materials and things like that, about a year's investment of work, and it was all completely and utterly destroyed. And when everything was done, I walk in, and there's a waterfall coming down my flight of stairs, beautiful oak staircase, and all my poplar floors had already started bowing from all the water that had seeped through the ceilings, and walking upstairs and seeing the holes that was once the ceilings of the upstairs bedrooms. All of our possessions upstairs were just covered with insulation and charred wood and things, and the smell was just absolutely horrible. I lost a lot of stuff, And a lot of stuff I still miss, but what I had my wife, I had my kids, I had my dog. And from that moment on, I placed a priority on what was important to me, because God gave me them. Because very easily with the way the fire happened, it was our house was struck by lightning. The fire had already started making way down through the walls. The house was already filled with smoke. It wouldn't have taken any more than about 15 more minutes before the firefighters got there to where they wouldn't have been trying to save our house anymore. They would have been trying to save the neighbors. And so it put stuff into its proper perspective for me. And even though, you know, life's a struggle. It's a struggle day to day. I always have my kids. We lost our dog recently. I shared a video, memorial video of her, and I still have my wife. So no matter what happens today, no matter what happens tomorrow, if all that stuff, the house, the car, the stuff is gone, if I can find a way to provide for my family, and I have my family, I have all that I need and all that I want.
You know, it's a crazy perspective, but the perceived value in the perceived importance we put on things is so crazy. I bet you the things that you hold near and dear are exactly those things that you hold near and dear. Let's just say your wallet, your car keys, your cell phone, your pocket knife, you know, your medicine, those things that you need first thing in the morning and you need every day nonstop is somewhere near on that nightstand or somewhere within 6 feet of where you lay your head every night. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And then the next thing is going to be where you store all this other stuff. And there's going to be a bag, or there's going to be a one place where from all of your other stuff, that the next level of stuff that you use the most and is most important to you, and whatever chore or task that you're doing for the day, for your work or for your crafts or for what you want to do together, they're in one area too. It just explodes. It gets massive and it creates anxiety. It creates confusion. And if you really take a look at your stuff, and starting with the people that you love dear and your family, and you put a value on those that mean so much, the rest of the stuff becomes stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. And let's be thankful and blessed that our family is always going to be there for when we need them and everything else. But be thankful for what you have, and put a true value on your stuff. And the rest of the stuff, don't worry about it. That is anxiety you don't need in your life. And
no, you can open a can for that.
I really didn't think that this was going to be going this way.
Yep. Well, that's the whole beauty of conversations. Is like it starts with hello.
This is how contrived it is. He emailed me, said, "Hey, I see you're going to be at the event. I'm going to be there too. Will you do an interview with me?" I said, "Hey, Sean, absolutely. You don't even have to ask." And then he followed up because he is a very, very organized and professional man. He sent me a list. He's like, "Hey, you know, if you don't have any talking points, this may help. Talk about them or not," giving me options to make sure that he provides quality for those people that are willing to watch this production. And I picked a few only because I didn't want to be specific with stuff, the gear you use, what you're looking for, what you want to see, what my thoughts are on this. You know what?
I have the potential to win yesterday's challenge.
I don't care.
I don't have the potential to win tonight's challenge.
I don't think you should care. I think the first priority is figuring out what in your life matters to you most and prioritize.
It was open.
And I said, "John,
it's cool, man.
forget that list.
You
Just talk
you
to
play
me."
your own game.
It's like I brought
That's
my
it.
own slingshot.
Thank you so much, brother.
Love you, man.
Because
Yeah, I love you.
And I just made it.
Thank you much.
Oh,
You know,
Folks,
you can use it.
I ordered
Thank
a
you.
bunch of